Get right on over to Storm Team 10's Jason Doors for more. You've been so busy.
Yeah, that is right. Again, it's because of our nor'easter as we continue to deal with the rain and the wind, and more or less what you see is kind of what you get for the rest of today, as we're expecting this to persist because of our low pressure kind of stalling out now. And that means this will be with us as we go forward and into our Tuesday. But we'll start off by taking a look at our People's Credit Union Skycam network live from the Coast Guard House restaurant in Narragansett. And I wanted to point out just a little of the splash over that's already starting to happen. Just kind of a combination of the rough seas and also that tide now coming back in. And over the next couple of hours, we're anticipating that potential force of minor coastal flooding as we get a little bit closer to high tide, which is between about 1:30 and 2 o'clock or so. So that is what we're going to be monitoring as we go forward. But currently sitting at 57 degrees in Narragansett, and that northeast wind at 17 miles an hour is actually working in our favor for the most part, as that's trying to push a little bit of that water offshore. But we're still, again, going to be watching out for this right here. High tide coming up at Point Judith, 138. Newport, 149, 137 Block Island westerly about 3 o'clock, and then 2 o'clock there in New Bedford. Again, the issue of that coastal flooding is being compounded by the fact that we have some rough seas just offshore, waves anywhere between about 15 and almost 20 feet this afternoon. And that means as they're approaching the coastline, that's kind of churning things up a little bit more as well. Rain continues to come down across the entire region. Again, steady as across southeast Massachusetts with this system. As we get into the afternoon, there could be just a little bit more intense localized downpours that make their way into the mix. So that is what we're going to be keeping an eye on. But additional rainfall accumulation from this point forward, much of Rhode Island maybe anywhere between about a ½ inch to an inch, with some of the coastline picking up a bit more, closer to that 1.5 inches. And then southeast Massachusetts could be looking anywhere between 1 to 2 additional inches of rainfall from this point forward. So timing things out, again, those showers continue to come in off the Atlantic. There will be some localized pockets of some steadier rain, but it's really as we go into the overnight time frame, we're going to start to see that precipitation shield blossom just a little bit more, especially across the Cape, the islands, Bristol County, Massachusetts, and Plymouth County. That's where they're going to pick up the bulk of their rainfall accumulation. Some of those steady showers still kind of linger across southeast Mass as we're getting towards that morning commute tomorrow, but notice Rhode Island, that rainfall intensity not quite as there, and that coverage of the showers are really going to start to break up a little bit more. But the rain is going to linger on the radar until the mid-afternoon hours, and then probably around 3-4 o'clock is when we finally start to see things improve and we start to dry up here across southern New England. Now, the good news is, and the positive, this evening is when those winds are going to start to diminish a little bit more. Still going to be windy out there for sure, no question about that, but not going to be seeing those gusts between about 30 and 40 miles an hour for inland spots, and we're not going to be seeing those gusts about 45 to 55 along the coastline anymore, especially as we go into Tuesday afternoon. Taking a look at the 10-day forecast, we do get a little bit of a break and we can finally dry out as we head into the second half of this week. But again, we're going to continue to track a lot of activity on the radar all the way through tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll be able to continue to see a little bit of nice fall weather potentially for this weekend.